What's up everyone, and thanks for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with these videos. So we got another big one coming, more progress being made. Of course, the progress never ceases to stop here. So on the last one, if you didn't watch it, we got the axle mocked up on the trailer. You can see the leaf springs are still on there. And we have the axle seats welded on. So now we're breaking out the sandblaster. And we have a lot to do. Got to get this all cleaned up. I got the tires off of the wheels. So I was going to video this, but I did the first one, got it off on my own, no machine, nothing. And it was a pain, honestly, and a ton of work. And I was just like, well, sorry. So just had to just get those off. And fighting some rain today. So going to go ahead and get started sandblasting this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done and the wheels, and then probably while the compressor's charging up, I'll go ahead and get the springs off. So got a lot to do in this one. Sandblasting, need to fix bands on the springs, got some broken bands on the springs, have to get those fixed, and then hopefully get everything painted. But we'll see how far we get. Let's jump into it. So as I'm sure you can tell, it has come down a massive storm outside. So I've had to move in, but that's okay. There's still a ton to do inside. So we did get the axle sandblasted, and let's have a look here. So I got it up on some sawhorses just so we'd be able to paint it. It'd be a lot easier to paint it off the ground, but I mean, it looks fantastic. And that sandblaster is so fun to use. It's so satisfying, you know, getting all the old rust and grease and garbage off of it. This thing looks great. So now what's left to do on this is just going to wipe it down with some mineral spirits to get the remaining dust, fingerprints, and all that mess off of it. And then we'll get started painting. First coat is done, and this thing, you know what, man, paint just makes everything look so much better. I mean, that's the idea of it, obviously, but I mean, it's brand new at this point. It's just so good. It looks so good. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I am just going to do 2 coats on it probably. So I have to wait at least 2 hours, which I'm shooting for. There's the drums right there. So I'm going to give it 2 hours and then put on another coat. But while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to tackle something else. So what I'm going to do is the mounting plates for the leaf springs. So what goes up under the leaf spring that the U-bolts go through has the shock mount on it. So I'll just show you these right here. So currently these will sit, because the leaf spring will go under, these will sit like this. And the U-bolt goes over the axle. The only issue is these right here, being off of a 51, are not, the shock mount right here is not in the right place. So on this year, the shocks mount forward of the axle. So the shock mount goes like up here. Let me see if I can get, it goes like up here and on the outside of the frame in front of the axle. So I need this mount to be over here. So what I'm going to do is on these, I'm just going to take and try to cut this wing off here. I'm just going to try and cut this off, and then I think flip it and weld it under this, and then just re-drill a hole for the U-bolt to go through. So I'm going to give that a shot. Hopefully that works. Like always, we'll see what happens. I have my line marked out here where I want to cut, and if anything, I just want to stay on this side of the line just so I can give this hole, you know, plenty of strength. I don't want to compromise the strength of this at all. So, yep, just going to take it nice and slow. Hopefully it'll be a nice clean cut, and then we can look at repositioning it. Okay, so I think this cut turned out nice. Left plenty of meat on the bones over here, just so this would be strong enough. And we shouldn't have any issues with that, which is good. We don't want to have any issues with strength. So now, okay, so this mounts like this up under the leaf springs. What I'm thinking to do, so like this one will mount on, if you're facing it the right side of the trailer, so just take this and slide it back up under here. So just looking online, they sell mounts that look like this. Obviously it's just squared off, but I think what we can do is if we can just take this and weld this to it and then just drill our hole, I think we'll be golden. I think that should work great. I mean, look, just looking at this, I think it will fit fine. I think we may need to bend. I think we may need to bend this more right, but yeah, I think I'll bend it up right just a little bit more, just because I don't really like how that's sitting. So I'm going to clean this up and then clean these up right here, and then we'll weld it on. Okay, I have the bottom plate in a vise. So first I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to tack this on here. Probably just tack it on this side here. Actually, probably on the back side, just because I'm right-handed, so that'll be easier. It's got a pretty nice tight fit, so I'll tack it, and then I'll go test fit it on the trailer, and so we can see where we are, and then I'll finish out the weld. All right, that'll work. Now let me go look at it on the trailer. So here is about what we're looking at as the final fit. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but to me, it looks like this will be pretty much parallel with the trailer, or with the axle. I don't know why I keep saying trailer, it's in the trailer. But it looks like it'll be pretty much parallel with the axle. So I think that'll work. Might bring it down just a bit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bring it down. It's just so hard to tell. So the welds aren't too bad, but they're not great either. Got a lot of holes in them, but I think that'll be plenty strong for the shocks. So I did end up adjusting this, you know, down a little bit like I mentioned earlier. I just looked at it a few more times and I think that is definitely the way to go. So now I just need to drill a hole in this so our U-bolt can get through. Got my drill bit. Threw a little bit of dish soap down in the hole, and that'll just help us, give us a little bit of lubricant. I'm just trying to make this stay. Made it through right there. This is my final product, and I think it'll work perfectly. Now, still waiting for the paint to dry on the axle, so I'm going to follow the same exact procedure that I did on this one, on the other one. So let's make number 2. This is my second completed mount, and it looks really good. One thing, I just want to brag on myself. Man, I'm getting so much better at welding. Look at those welds. They look so much better than any of my other ones so far. I am really happy with those. So, got the holes done. So now, let's take that one there. Boom. Left and right are done. Good stuff. Now it's time to get back on painting the axle. So this stuff is dry now. It's really not even tacky. So, second and final coat going on. Now this is the finished product. 2 coats of paint. It's all dried up. This thing looks fantastic. So nice. Now I went ahead and got the mounts painted and the U-bolts painted because I was at the very end of the can of paint, and basically the paintbrushes are only a one-time use when you use this kind of stuff. After I finished the first coat, I just sat the brush in mineral spirits just to try to keep it loose, but it hardened up in that. So just went ahead and got those done because after that, after I finished these, didn't really have much paint left, and it was kind of getting hard and not really savable. So I'm so happy with this. So now what we have to do is still fighting rain. Last few days it's just been raining in the afternoon, just been fighting it. So now have to get the leaf springs done, get those sandblasted before we get any rain, and then we can paint those. So that's what we're going to head to now. So get to it. The springs and mounts look great post sandblasting. So I just did just do the sides of them, and I'm just going to take the flat disc on the angle grinder to do the flat bits of it. That'll be easier for me to get, and it'll save time just doing it with the angle grinder rather than sandblasting it. So also, for the sake of time, I'm going to jump ahead to when I have that done, and then I can start replacing the broken bands on these. Time to replace the bands. So this one right here needs to be replaced. This one is completely broken, and then this one we just need to bend in and reclamp, so you can see it's a little bit out. Same with this one right here, it's a little bit loose. But for this one, it's completely broken off. I have this piece of 1/2 inch wide 1/8 inch steel, and I'm just going to lay this about right here, just right beside it. Going to weld this just straight to the back of it, and then bend my 2 edges down. So here we go. I'm just going to take this, just give myself plenty of room on this side, just so I have a little bit more leverage. Now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to tack on both sides for now. Make sure it's flush and reasonably straight. With the help of a hammer, just going to apply pressure on the end. And I broke it off. Alright, let's tack it back down. Maybe if that's going to be my final space, I just need to weld it down. Alright, it should hold now. Okay, so now like before, just gonna tap this down. I'm going to do the same on this other side. And now I just turn it around, and I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to give myself probably like 1 inch on each side. That should be plenty of room. And then we'll bend them down flat. Now that both pieces are cut, we'll just take and bend these down. That's almost perfect. I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. And that's perfect. So now I'll go ahead and off camera just tighten up these other ones, and then we'll move to the next leaf spring to fix that one. Now doing the same exact thing on the other spring. So this one only has one side broken, but I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the whole thing anyways, just because it'll be really easier and stronger for me to do that, just rather than trying to tack on a half side or just weld onto this part right here. It'll be easier just to do the whole thing. The leaf springs are painted. I cannot wait to get these on the frame. Everything looks so good. But that's going to be it for this one. I'm sorry if it's a little bit long, but there's a lot of stuff that needed to get done, and we got it done. So on the next one, we're going to be taking all this stuff that we just got painted and fabbed up, and we're going to be mounting it. Going to be putting it all together on the trailer. I'm looking forward to that moment. And in the next one, we probably will be getting the wheels sanded and painted and getting some new tires on them. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm going to try to. But we'll definitely be getting all this stuff mounted on the frame. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I look forward to being with you again in the next one. I'll see you.